Good day everyone. Welcome to Teacher Julie channel. Hello everyone. We have our new topic in MAPEH Health, which is all about changes that happen to adolescents. This will be the first quarter topic and week 3 to 4. This topic is a milk based. For the most essential learning competencies, you are going to recognize that changes in different dimensions that are normal during adolescence and to describe changes in different aspects of growth that happen to boys and girls during adolescence. So before we start our proper discussion, so let's have the Adolescence comes with a fair share of changes. These transformations can be physical, mental, emotional, social, and moral spiritual. For the physical changes, this is the physical transformations observed during adolescence are in most cases the result of hormonal changes as the teenager's body is transformed from child to adult. This phase called puberty starts between the ages of 9 and 16 and usually ends between the ages of 18 and 22. The following are some of the general changes that happen to adolescents, boys, and girls during puberty. There is a rapid increase in height and weight, and then the boys experience this usually 2 years later than girls. Another general changes that happen during puberty is that changes happen in the circulatory and respiratory system. The heart and lungs grow bigger and work better, although the increase is more in boys than in girls. Another general changes that happen during puberty is in the body composition. Muscles develop rapidly. Although boys' muscles grow faster than girls, body fat increases although the increase in girls' body fat is more than boys. Another general changes that happened during puberty is the reproductive organ of both boys and girls growth. For the mental or intellectual changes, studies have shown that the brain makes significant changes as a child grows through puberty into adulthood. As a child becomes teen, he or she is more able to think abstractly and, more importantly, more able to empathize with others. For the mental or intellectual changes, adolescents are egocentric. This means caring too much about yourself and not about other people. They argue to convince, exhibit independent and critical thoughts. Another mental or intellectual changes is that adolescents prefer active and cooperative learning activities over passive learning experiences. Another one is that adolescents enjoy learning skills to apply to real life problems and situations. Another mental or intellectual changes is that adolescents have a tendency to become bored with routine activities. They need to be challenged. Another one also is adolescents are capable of thinking critically, helping them understand issues and concerns about their development. Another mental or intellectual changes is that adolescents think less of themselves, allow them to think and reason out better. And then adolescents have the abilities to control and coordinate their thoughts with their actions and deeds. Another mental or intellectual changes is that adolescent students focus attention on what they want to listen to. They also focus their attention on two or more things at the same time. Another important changes during puberty stage is the emotional changes. This is one of the most important dimensions of health. This includes both positive and negative reactions. First one is the erratic emotions and behaviors. It includes mood swings, are mostly experienced and felt. Emotions that are frightening and poorly understood, often triggered by hormonal imbalance, may cause regression and more childish behavior. Another emotional changes that happen during puberty stage is that as part of being moody and restless, they are introspective and often feel self-conscious, alienated, and lack of self-esteem. Adolescents are easily offended and sensitive to criticism, vulnerable to one-sided arguments and criticism. Another emotional changes is that adolescents are usually being optimistic and hopeful, searching for adult identity and acceptance. Adolescents exaggerate simple occurrences and believe that personal issues are unique to themselves. Another emotional changes that happen during puberty stage is that adolescents believe that nobody understands them, striving for a sense of individual uniqueness and search for their identity. Also, adolescents are more emotional and makes them open to being hurt or in danger. Another emotional changes that happens during puberty is that boys are usually sexually active. Thus, they are prone to participate at rest behavior due to the sudden increase in the manufacture of hormones. Then girls become self-conscious because of the changes that are happening to them, giving them a feeling of insecurity and discomfort. Another important changes during puberty stage is the social changes. Social wellness refer to your ability to interact with people, respect yourself and others, develop meaningful relationships, and develop quality communication skills. The following are the social changes that happen during puberty stage. The adolescents may act out of unusual or drastic. At times, he or she may be aggressive, daring, boisterous, and argumentative. Adolescents are being rebellious toward parents but still strongly depend on parental values. Another social changes that happen during adolescent stage is that adolescents have negative interaction with peers, Parents and teachers may compromise ideals and commitments. And then adolescents distrust relationship with others who show lack of sensitivity to adolescent needs. Another social changes that happen during adolescent stage is that adolescents enjoy with friends who share the same interest with them, so they stay longer with them after school. And then adolescents are confused and frightened by new school settings that are large and impersonal. Another social changes that happen during adolescent stage is that adolescents are loyal to peer values, sometimes cruel and insensitive to those outside the peers. Adolescents also idolizes peers and media role personalities as sources for standards of behavior, dress, and style. Another important changes that happened during adolescent stage is the moral spiritual changes. Adolescents on this stage analyze themselves and find out who they are. They explore moral and ethical issues. The following are the moral spiritual changes that happen during adolescent stage. They explore and ask broad and answerable questions about the meaning of life, and then they are reflective, introspective, and analytical about their thoughts and feelings. Another moral and spiritual changes is that they depend on influences of home and religious institutions for moral and ethical choices and behaviors, and they analyze strengths and weaknesses to understand and accept themselves better. Another moral and spiritual changes is that they learn house rules imposed by parents to promote order and harmony. And adolescents distinguish between rules that are negotiable and that are non-negotiable.